Hello everyone and welcome to race 5 in the main competition of season 6. This is the season finale and we're at Monza. This is the modern layout of Monza but without the first chicane. So the main straight is very long and cars are going to reach incredible speeds. Let's talk a little bit about the track before we get into the actual competitors. So as you exit the final corner, you enter the main straight. And this is a very long straight. The fastest cars are going to top out over 300 kilometers an hour, but pretty much every car is going to max out here and bounce off of red line in top gear for a while. Even my car, as you can see. And then when you get to turn 1, this is actually a very fast corner, and in modern cars you would be able to go there almost flat out. Well, depending on just how fast you were going before, but then after another straight you get into this chicane here, very tight, probably the tightest part of the whole track. Then you have another short straight and a medium speed right-hander. This will be in second or third gear in most cars depending on gearing. And then after this this short straight you get another right-hander which is tighter than the one that went before. Second gear in most cars here, and then you enter another long straight with a bend towards the left here. Through the bridge, cars are gonna reach well over 250 kilometers an hour here. Again, depends on just how fast the car is. And then you get into the second chicane, or I'd rather call them the sort of S's here. And then exiting this left-hander is really important, and exiting it smoothly so that you carry enough speed onto this straight, which is the final straight before the Parabolica, the famous final corner at Monza. So you have to enter this corner very slow with these cars, and then you can gradually accelerate out. And when you put the hammer down at the corner exit, as you can see, you're almost already doing 200 kilometers an hour, and from there you accelerate down the main straight, and that's a lap in Monza. Our first head-to-head is the Delcia Amali versus the Coventry Climax, and these two cars are both, comparatively speaking, not the fastest on the straights. The Delcia is actually pretty strong in acceleration, but it maxes out at about 270 kilometers an hour. So these two are pretty much neck and neck for now. The Coventry did go a little bit wide on entry on this turn 1 here, but it's still okay. The Coventry is also more unstable on the braking for the chicane, whereas the Delcia remained planted, and so it's got a small lead right now. As they come into this next corner, the Delcia is once again going to show great compliance. The Coventry has no real problems here, a little bit slimy, but it's okay. And then through here, pretty much the same, but the Delcia is still ahead. And because it accelerates faster, the Delcia is also going to maintain its lead here through this straight. As you can see, it's really pulling ahead. And through these S's, yep, the Coventry again unstable on the braking. Through these S's, once again, the Delcia very planted, very quick. And so, even as they approach the Parabolica and the lap isn't over yet, it's pretty clear that the Delcia is probably going to win this head-to-head. So once again the Coventry was unstable on the braking, and the Delcia is going to go through the Parabolica in the lead, enter the main straight first, and it's going to clock in with a time of 1:58.245. Next up we have the Aero GP F4 versus the Catan Corsa F1. The Catan is already bouncing off redline as the video starts here, and yeah, that's simply because of gearing. It's geared to something like 253 or 254 kilometers an hour in top gear, as a result the Aero is already ahead. And as we've also mentioned countless times before in other races, the Catan Corsa is very unstable at high speeds, and that combined with its low top-end speed is really not good at Monza. So as you can see, the Aero was very well planted for the chicane, and it was already ahead before, so it's only going to extend its lead. But accelerating through the corners on these short straights, the Catan is much quicker, so it's almost caught up by now. So for this next part here, the Catan is slowly but surely catching, but now once again very unstable at the high speeds, and the Aero was able to brake later, and it's going through these S's also in a more controlled way. The Catan very sideways coming out of it, and the Aero is once again pulling ahead here. The Catan once again very unstable. The Aero is already well into the Parabolica, and it's going to exit the Parabolica first. And because the Catan Corsa has such short final gearing, the Aero is going to win this head-to-head, and it's going to clock in with a 158.3. Next we have the Vento XF Caldera versus the Blue Streak F61. The Blue Streak has won these head-to-heads most of the time so far, and both cars are maxed out at almost 300 kilometers an hour on the main straight. The Vento is a little bit sideways here for this first corner, but as you can see in the video, it doesn't really cost much. Both still very evenly matched for this first chicane here. But because the Blue Streak is so much lighter, it's more agile, and so it's able to take these corners quicker. And so it's already got a small lead now. And so through this corner, the Blue Streak once again is just able to maintain more speed. And the same also through here. And that gives the Blue Streak a nice advantage for now, but we know that the Vento has slightly better acceleration. So let's see, can it catch up here? Looks like it did catch up a little bit, but the Blue Streak is still ahead. And the Blue Streak is also very planted through here. So it's looking good for the Blue Streak here, and it has performed very well last time, coming in third at Spa. So let's see what it can do here at Monza. Once again, Blue Streak in the lead through the Parabolica. I don't think that's going to change. And so the Blue Streak is now on the main straight, almost about to finish, and it's going to clock in with a 154.3. Next we have the Scarab versus the Minos. Now these two cars have been excellent throughout the season, but both have had a little bit of their ups and downs. So the Minos is a little bit faster down the straights. I say only a little bit because in terms of acceleration it's quite a bit quicker, but it tops out at just over 280 kilometers an hour, and the Scarab I think goes something like 274. Anyway, here for the first chicane you can already see that the Minos is very unstable in the braking. The wobble is very strong, and that has allowed the Scarab to catch up. The Minos is still slightly ahead for now, and then in these medium speed corners that don't require much braking, the Minos is actually excellent, as it has always been. And so for now the Minos is still in the lead at the moment. But we will have these S's and of course the Parabolica coming up, and so Those are going to be two big braking zones, and that is where the Scarab might make up some more time. Let's see. So the Minos takes a bit of a wider entry and the Scarab as well. Both made it through those S's at pretty much exactly the same pace. But now on the straight the Minos is going to pull ahead. And you can see by just how much it pulled ahead here. But then it needed to brake earlier and it still went sideways due to the brake wobble. But nonetheless, it's going to pull through first, because the Scarab is just not as quick on the straights, and the Minos is clocking in with a 154.8. Last but not least, we have the HFF Cake versus the Sabre 11, with the blue streak still leading. Now, both the HFF and the Sabre are maxing out at just over 300 km an hour here on the straight. And both need to brake at about the same time for this first turn. Don't worry, as you can see on the splits here, going slightly wider with the Sabre did not cost it any time. Both cars also really good through the chicane, but the HFF can put the power down better, so it's able to accelerate out of the chicane a little bit sooner, giving it a small advantage for now. And then through this corner here, you might say, oh, that slide cost a lot of time with the Sabre, but it actually doesn't. I went back and checked the split times. It didn't lose any time due to that. Both cars absolutely blasting down the straight here. And then through the S's, the HFF and the Sabre both are very good, very quick. And pretty much neck and neck so far. HFF still has a very small advantage, but that can change at the Parabolica. Still pretty even here. Still the HFF only slightly ahead. And it's looking like the HFF is going to hold on to its lead, and indeed it does, and it clocks in with a 153.1. So the HFF wins for the third consecutive time, and this also means it wins overall. Congratulations to Adderall for that. And this race was won in two places. Firstly in the chicane, then in the SS later on in the track, the Sabre actually made up time. And then in the Parabolica, the HFF was also much more planned. Congratulations again for winning. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the season, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.